Welcome to another episode of Good Things Brings for 2025, your official Good Things Festival interview series that takes you behind the scenes, chatting with some of the amazing bands on the lineup ahead of the festival this December. I'm Tiana Speter, and today I'm joined by none other than Alex from All Time Low, not only ahead of returning to Australia, but also ahead of the release of a brand new album, Everyone's Talking. Alex, thank you for chatting. It seems like a very busy time of year for you.
It is busy. It is pretty busy right now. We're like, it's right at the top of record release. We're moments away. So it's all systems go. But it's a good, that's a good place to be. It's like it's a reminder that people care. And I think for us being 20 20 some years into a career in music, like that's what we're so grateful for. It's just crazy to think that like the little band that we started in a basement in Baltimore is something that people give a shit about. So we're
Yeah.
we're so stoked.
Well, I give a large shit about it, dare I say. Like, it is just amazing to see at this point, like, as a lot of people obviously know about you guys, it hasn't just been like a here and there thing. Like you've been there from day one, just relentlessly releasing, playing. Like there has never been a wane. And every time you put out an album, it's like they can't level up anymore. Surely, like 20 years in, like overachievers comes to mind in a complimentary way. But let's talk.
Trying.
Everyone's talking. Like album number 10, double digits for All Time Low Records now. As you mentioned, 20 years in and releasing via your own imprint, Basement Noise Records. Like at this stage, it's not anyone's first rodeo making an album, obviously. But like I said, this album just feels like another glow up sonically, an expansion on the sound without sacrificing your core musical DNA. What was the mission statement slash goal slash whatever you'd like to call it back of the beginning when work truly began on Everyone's Talking?
It was identity. It was finding out who All Time Low is and is going to be in this phase of the game, this era. We spent a year celebrating 20 years of All Time Low and looking back and thinking about our legacy and when we kind of turned the other direction and decided that okay, now we're going to look to the future. What does the next version of All Time Low look like and feel like and sound like? It was all about creating something that felt like the most realized and fleshed out version of our band, while staying true to where we came from. And I think that's a really challenging thing to do when you've put out 9 albums before. But I think, we've been lucky. Like over the years, our fans have allowed us to kind of grow and try new things and go on creative tangents. And because of that, I think we've painted with a lot of different brushes. And um, that sort of informed the way this album has taken shape. It's got all of those flavors all throughout, but it is so I think it's one of the truest 2 All Time Low records we've ever made. I think we hit a stride with Wake Up Sunshine and started really finding the identity of who we are as a band in our 30s.
Mm.
And I think this version of it is the most realized.
I love that because I love that the goal was identity and you've realized it. Like it's one thing to have the idea, it's another thing to actually deliver on the idea. But obviously, it's been clear the entire way. I feel like it's just been a natural evolution. And in the lead up to the album release, we've obviously had a bit of an insight into what may lie in wait for the overall album. We've had singles like Sucker Punch, The Weather, Oh No, and Butterflies. We've had chart success, critical acclaim, some amazing visual accompaniments along the way as well. But what dictated what did or didn't become a single? Like, are you guys usually pretty unanimous with those decisions these days?
That's a really good question. Yeah. We in the past, like picking singles has sometimes been a challenge. Like when everybody doesn't align on what the song should be, it can become like pretty. It can become a distraction almost. You know what I mean? Like it kind of takes away from the smooth sailing of what you want to have as a good release cycle. And so something that's really great about where we are and how we're operating as a band right now is because we started our own label and the decisions flow through us, and I think we're more unified now on these kinds of decisions than maybe ever before. And it's funny, like the first 4 songs that have come out, there really wasn't there really wasn't a question about whether or not those were the right things to put out at the time. The four of us were very much aligned on like, this is what people should hear first. This is what song's going to radio. This is what the visual components are going to look like. And I think, it's one of those, like, we have the right amount of cooks in the kitchen, and we all know what we're trying to make. And I think that's been very key in rolling this thing out the way we wanted to roll it out. And there's even the songs that we held back for release day was intentional. There's heat, you know what I mean? There's more great songs on this album to come. It's not like we front loaded people with like, these are the four best songs and then the rest of the record's the record. It's like,
Yeah.
there's some gas, I think, that we held back, and that was really important to us as well, is like to have this feel like a fully fleshed out album cycle and not just a flash in the pan moment. Was all super, intentional.
Yeah, and that it's such a fine balance. Like I really like that you have the right amount of cooks. You don't hear that a lot with a lot of things, and it's obviously a testament to what you guys have been building this entire journey. And on a live front, like you are on the road, like you're literally performing tonight as we're speaking, but you're playing a bunch of shows before you even get to Australia. So I guess a two-part question: which of the new songs have you enjoyed playing the most at these more recent shows? And secondly, which all-time low song do you absolutely adore playing? Doesn't matter when it was released, how many times you played it throughout the past.
Uh-huh.
I mean, especially since some of them you wrote like a couple of decades ago. So which of the new ones have been a fave, and which of, the all-time greats of the all-time low catalog will you just never tire of?
I For me, the weather has been one that has, as we've started playing it more and more live, it's kind of pocketed into this awesome place for me where I love playing that song live. And it's starting to, it's interesting because we pushed that song. We decided that was going to be like our push track to radio and things like that. And what's amazing about a song like that is we had this gut feeling that it was special and has some of that secret sauce that just connects on kind of a universal level with people. And it's been really great as we've started rolling it out and playing it live, seeing the way that it's growing every time we take a stage and play it. The excitement, the vibe, the energy in the room one ups itself each time we play it, and we feel that. And so that's quickly becoming like one of my favorite songs in the set and one of my favorite songs to play live. Butterflies is kind of a similar one. The energy of that song, we knew it was going to be important in the live show, and it has kind of filled a space in our set that was missing. So those have been really special. And then, I mean, there are so many songs in our catalog that feel like they've become live staples. And I would say, particularly on this tour, something like a song that really hits for me is Weightless live is just a special one. It's something that, again, like, it connects with the crowd in a way. And I think our fans have really connected with the lyrics of that song, and you feel that when you play it for people live. So that one stands out for sure.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I mean, I don't want to lock you into any particular set list decisions for Australia, because obviously you will be doing some headline side shows as well. We will have you for the festival. So there's obviously going to be a lot of gold that will be uncovered. But let's talk about Australian memories for a moment, because it's not your first time playing in Australia, not your first time playing Good Things Festival either. It's going to mark your return since you played in 2018, I believe, if my maths is correct. But
Yeah,
I'm sure it's right. If we both say it's right, it's right. But if we look back at
feels right.
like your previous visits, it can be good things or not. Like, what moment instantly springs to mind, whether on stage or off, good, bad, hilarious, crazy, or other, from an Australian visit? Like, what is a moment you will never ever forget?
There's one that really stands out to me. I think it was Soundwave Fest. Um, and we got caught in a rainstorm, and the power went out on the stage, or they had to kill the power to the stage because it was creating like an unsafe environment. But I remember we weren't able to continue on with our show, and because of the storm delay, like, we weren't going to be able to finish our set. And I was like, well, look, like, this is unfortunate, no one can help it, it is what it is, but are you able to safely give me like one microphone that's switched on? And I went out and sang, it might have been Weightless a cappella to the crowd that had formed for our show. And I think we did maybe a little snippet of a Queen song too, a cappella. And it was like, it was this totally off the cuff random moment, but the crowd, while we were doing it, got bigger and bigger and bigger. And there was just this really incredible moment that happened so naturally over, what was a bummer of a situation. It was a canceled set for us basically. So it was like we made the best of this shitty moment, and it ended up being something that like really stands out to me as like an incredible live moment.
Yeah, you cannot script that stuff, and that is like the ultimate making lemonade out of lemons, because I feel like that would just be something so memorable that no one would really see coming. I'm actually very jealous.
Exactly.
I was not there now. So I have
It was
FOMO, that's fine.
special. It was sick.
I love it. Well, to start to close us out today, looking ahead, the Good Things lineup spans so many incredible bands, obviously some old friends, potentially some new friends. But rather than simply ask who you're most excited to catch live at the festival, All Time Low are no strangers to a team up with some amazing artists in the past. If you could collab on a song with anyone from the Good Things Festival lineup in the future, who would you choose?
Oh man.
Because we've got a pretty, I can even rattle off some names if it helps, but I'm sure you know plenty of them.
I mean, I would love to collaborate with Garbage. I mean, like that band is a powerhouse, and there's so much talent on the roster there, so I think that would make some dreams come true if we could work with Garbage on something. Obviously, Weezer is a band that we came up uh loving and listening to, and like in some ways early on kind of emulating. And I was fortunate enough to work with Rivers on a couple songs back in the day. And so doing something with Weezer again would be cool too.
Yes, bring it. Well, we'll see what we can manifest. But in the meantime, we of course have everyone's talking to get all prepped and listening to ahead of your return. Thank you so much for chatting
Yeah,
today. And we can't wait to have you back in Australia for good things.
stoked, can't wait to come back.